Hello everyone, my name is Ms. Shahbazi and I'm a math teacher for almost 20 years. I know that during this day that you have to stay at home, it's very difficult to not be worried about your education. Here we are gonna go and review unit 1 of your math, and after that we are gonna continue for the next units of your math grade 11 function grade 11. Um, I know that if you are here and it's going to be from the public school, it's going to be a start from next week, online education, but still it's going to be a good thing to uh, having these resources beside of whatever that you have it on public school. As you know, the company is providing 100,000 hours of a free tutoring services that you just need to sign up for this free tutoring service. I'm gonna show you the website that you can sign up. Right now, I would like just to go and start the lesson. We started already unit 1, lesson 1. Right now, I'm gonna go for lesson 2. Okay. It is our lesson from like a last class on Monday. We had it that it was about that what is the difference between relation and function. We learn about that how we can recognize if a graph is a function based on a vertical line test, and if it is like a based on a pair point, if it's a function or not, and how we can write it down domain and range. The last two questions that we did last session, it was these two questions asking draw a graph, a relation that is following the properties given. Draw a function that the domain is all of real number and range is all of the real number that those numbers are less than or equal 5. Here it's a one example of the answer that you may have. You can have so many different answers. You can draw in so many different ways as long as that your graph is less than 5, you are fine, as long as that the graph is um, following the instruction for the function, it's also fine. You could just do, I know, it's a function too. This red one is another function. It is a function, domain is xer, and the range is all of the number less than 5, less than or equal by 5. Next question is asking if it is not a function, then technically it has to fail vertical line test. Domain is between -3 and 3, and range is -3 and 3. The easiest one that you can do is a circle, because it's telling you, we saw this example before, that for the circle we have a domain staying between 2 points and range staying between 2 points. Then the easiest things that you could do, it was that you could just go by any graph. That one is also, I'm so sorry, I didn't use my pen, then the graph didn't come. Can be another answer. As long as, because this one also, it doesn't pass the vertical line test, as you see. Any graph that doesn't pass the vertical line test and stay in this shape, you could do just easily one square. Could be your answer. Here today we are gonna start to I'm gonna erase all of these answers just to keep it as it is. Okay, today we are gonna go and learn about the function notation. Your course name is function, yeah? Then you are gonna learn about the function notation. Until here, like from grade 9, 10, you learn about that. Okay, you can write it down. Y equal by 2x minus 4 is a linear equation. And you learned last session that this is a function. But you were writing as a y and x. Grade 10, you learn about that x square. X square minus 1. I'm just making it a little bit different from the parent. X square minus 1. And this one also, you learned that last class, you learned that this one is a function too. Then instead of writing y and x, yes, x is independent, y is dependent, agree. But instead of using a two element like a y and x, we are going to use the function notation. Here, I'm going to write it down this equation after this point like that. F of x is equal by, I do not have enough space here. I'm going to use another color to write it down in a function notation. Here, I'm going to write it down this one after this point like that. F of x, instead of writing y is equal by something, because I know it's a function, then function of the variable x is 2x minus 4. Here same things. Function of variable x is x squared minus 1. As you see, here we are going to learn about that writing any like a relation. If the relation is a function, I'm going to write it down as a function notation. Let's talk about another one. Here. Here is again another relation. This relation is talking about x and y. But we know that this is an equation of a circle and this one is not a function. As long as it is not a function, I cannot write it down this y as a f of x. We are using a notation of f of x for the relation that we are sure they are function. But okay, not all the time we have enough f of x when I want to talk about the different function in the same question. Sometimes I'm using g of x, h of x. All of them are representing function of x. Let's go over this lesson. Let's read whatever that we have here. Maybe it helps us to understand more. Function notation. When working with the several functions at once, it is convenient to name each function differently. Any function can be named using function notation. In function notation, the symbol f of x represents the dependent variable. It indicates that the function name f is expressed in the term of the independent variable x. Like for example, x and y notation. When I'm writing here, I can write it down y equal by 2 of x. The same example almost I use. But when I'm using function notation, I'm going to write it down f of x is equal by 2x. F is the name of a function. The symbol f of x is the value of the function at x. Thus, f of x equal by 2x is read the value of f at x, or simple f of x. As a simple way, we are reading it as a simple of x. Then the function notation is represent the variable, represent the dependent variable for each function. Then let's be more professional after this point. Whenever we are sure a relation is a function, use as a function notation. Let's hear function notation. F is the name of, let me make it a little bit bigger here that you can see. I'm hoping that you can read right now. F is the name of a function. X is this tells you that X is the input. And 2x is telling you that what the function does. This function is multiplying every input by 2. Every value as a x that is going to the function is multiplying by 2. Then technically function, we can say that the function is a matching product, a input to the output. X as a independent is gonna be your input. You are gonna put the value x into the function, and f of x, or the function of x, is gonna be give you the output. The machine produces exactly one output for every input that you are putting into the function. A function is like a machine. When x value in the domain of the function, because we talked about the domain is the input functions, enters, the machine produces the output f of x. The output f of x determined by the characteristics of the function. There is three examples here that we want to do together. If you are feeling confidence, you can start to do the questions in advance. Here, the question is asking f of 3. First things that I'm gonna do, I'm gonna find the function f. Okay, it's a f of x. Then I'm gonna use this function. But for x, as you see, there is an input 3. Then f of 3, let me use the, sorry. Okay, here I'm gonna calculate f of 3. Then in this function, for every x, I'm gonna plug a 3. 2, 3 by power of 2 minus 4 multiplied by 3 plus 3 equal by bed mass. 3 by power of 2 is gonna be 9 minus 4 multiplied by 12, 4 multiplied by 3, 12 plus 3. 2 to 9, 18. 18 minus 12, 6, 6 and 3 look like that. The answer is 9. Technically, here I got this point. If the input is 3, output is gonna be 9. Let's see if you can do this question by yourself. G of negative 2. Same way that I plugged a positive number 3 into the f of x, here I want to plug a negative number into the g of x. I'm gonna use this equation. Input negative 2 has an output of 23. Okay, here. For first example, I tried a positive number. Second example, I tried the negative example. And for part C, I'm gonna use a fraction. But look at the equation for part C. H of x is 9. means that it is a constant function for all of the variable that it's going like into the x. The value is 9. Then for this question, technically I do not need calculation. The answer is 9 because there is no variable of x that I can plug. Then 1 over 2 and 9. There is a challenging question here. Asking calculate f of g of 4. It is one of the questions that you are gonna see it on advanced function as well too. But it's a nice question. See, with the basic information, with the basic knowledge of the function, we can do this question right now. As you see here, it's just saying f of g of 4. First, I'm gonna calculate g of 4. G of 4, I'm gonna use the function g here. Negative 8 times 4 plus 7. It's gonna be negative 32 plus 7, negative 25. Okay, now look like that I am looking for the value of. Now my question was f of g of 4, sorry, positive 4. Now I change this question to f of negative 25. Because I calculate g of 4 is negative 25, then I just need to calculate f of negative 25. Okay, let's see how can I do this one. Two. Okay, 2 multiplied by 625. Let me see if I have a final answer for this one. Then I can. Okay, I do not. Here is gonna be, let me use my calculator. 2 times 625. Okay, the answer that I got here based on the calculator is 1353. And it is my answer. Now, f of g of 4 is 1353. So far, so good. Now, we are going to the next example. Find the value of each function at x equal by 0. When I'm plugging x0, technically I am looking for the place that the function is hitting the y-axis. Because on the y-axis, the value of the x is gonna be 0. Now here we are gonna calculate f of 0. For the first one, I'm sure that you can do at home. The answer is negative 1. How about here? Here, it's a gain constant function. Then p of 0 is gonna be negative 2. Doesn't matter what's that. Here, g of 0 is gonna be 5 multiplied by 0, 0 minus 2, then this bracket is gonna be negative 2, and the other bracket is gonna be 6, then the answer is gonna be negative 12. Let's see. Here, I have a 3x minus 1. The line is here. You have the graph. Let me put a x and y axis. It's very important to have them. I plugged x equal by 0. The answer comes as a negative 1. Find the point, and technically here, I got the points 0 and negative 1. Here I got 0 and negative 2. Here I got 0 and negative 12. As you see here, all of them the x's are 0. As long as x is 0 means that I'm calculating y-intercept. Look at this equation. Is it a 0 and negative 1 is your y-intercept? Is it a 0 and negative 2 is your y-intercept? And here also 0 and negative 12 is your y-intercept. Then I am verifying my answer based on the graph that I have. Here 3x minus 1 is this red line. P of x is equal by negative 2 is a constant horizontal line. And here is a quadratic equation. 2 over 5 and negative 2 are your 2 over 5 and negative 2 are your x-intercept, and it's a parabola open upward. Sorry. I would like to go to the next example. I'm just showing one more time the way that I calculate the answer for part C. Okay. It is another example. I'm leaving it here for 1 minute. You can read and try to understand, then we can go over the question. A linear function machine has a function of the form f of x is ax plus 2. I know that's a linear. Given that for a negative 10 is a point on the function, find the value of a and then write the definition equation, defining equation of the function. Okay, do you have any idea? Let's see if your idea is the same as my idea. Here it's just telling me when the input is 4, output is negative 10. Then I know that x is 4 and f of x or y is negative 10. Then let's write it down the equation. F of x is negative 10. Okay. A. What is the x value? X value is 4. Then what do I have to do? Easy peasy. It's an equation, linear equation. I can do the linear equation, solve it for a. You start to do by yourself, and I'm doing this side, then we can see our answer. got, for f of x, I plugged negative 10 because it was the output of my function. I'm just writing the point here again. Negative 10 was output. 4 was x or input. Then if I put the x4 into this function, output is going to be negative 10. Then 4a negative 10 is equal by 4a plus 2. I took 2 to the other side and solved. I find the a and I rewrite the defining equation of the function. There is a one like a, sometimes I can say that common mistake for some of the students. I'm teacher for a long time and I can say that, okay, which type of a mistake you are doing. Sometimes you are reading a question, you are understanding the question, you know what you have to do. Then you are starting to write it down. You are skipping the steps. Is not good, because me as a teacher, I don't want to see the final answer without solution. And if you make any mistake during your solution and you end up with the wrong answer, you're going to lose full mark. But if you show your steps, I can see as a teacher, okay, you did, maybe you made a mistake here for, I know, the sign. You are going to lose that much mark, not all of them. It's a one mistake. The other mistake, I can see that so many students are stopping here. A is equal by negative 3. Yes, I was looking for A and I'm done. First of all, you are not putting your answer in a box or whatever that the teacher can see. And the other things, you are not reading the question to the end. You are just saying, okay, find the value of A. You are just stopping here. Finding the value of A is just a one part of a question. Write the defining equation of the function. You have to rewrite the equation based on whatever that you find. Is the easiest step. You got the answer, just plug into your equation and you are done. Then make sure you are reading the question to the last point, understand the question, write it down all of your solution. Let's go for next question. The population of a town P, the population of a town P in 1000 T years since 1995 is modeled by the relation P of T is 240T plus 300 over 3T plus 5. What was the population of a town in 1995? I know that the starting point is 1995. Then at when sorry. At year 1995, we are going to assume t is 0 because it's a starting point. Then when the question is asking what was the population of the town in 1995, means that t is 0. Then p of 0 is that one that I'm going to look for it. Okay, make sure always you are following bit math. 240 multiplied by 0 is 0 and this one is 0. Then my answer is gonna be 300 over 5, or in another way I can say the 60. Then 60 people. Let's see if we can answer part B. Determine the population of a town in 2003 and 2008. What we have to do here, if 1995 if 1995 it's your T0, when I'm talking about 2003, means that my T time is gonna be 8 after 8 years from the starting point. Then I'm gonna calculate P of T. 8. You can start to do part I and double I. Then we are gonna check the answer. Go ahead. I'm gonna here, as you see, in 2003, we have 8 years as we talked about it. Then I have to calculate P of 8. For the function, I'm plugging 8 and I'm ending up the population being 76.552. But the population is in a thousands. Then the population is gonna be 76,552. In 2008, from the starting point is a 13 years past. Then I have to plug a 13. After calculation, I'm gonna have a 77.727. Means that 77,727. Part C is a nice part. In what year will the population reach 78,750? What do you think about this question? Now here is just talking about the population. It is your population. It is your outcome. Then technically P of T is 78,750. But because it's on thousand, then I'm gonna put 78,750. Here in that case, you have a population and you are looking for the T. Here you have a 78,750. Sorry. That it is equal by, let's see what was the equation, 240t now see what year technically is a T I am looking for. I want to know when, in which time I have this value. For solving this equation, you can do crisscross. It's gonna be 240t plus 300 equal by 78,750 times 3t plus 5. It is a linear equation. You can solve it easily. I'm giving you like a 20 seconds. You have an equation and you can answer it. Here there is a crisscross and then multiplication, getting the answer, and t that I got is 25. T is 25 years after starting point, but the year starts at 1995. I'm adding another 25 to this one. 1995 plus 25 is gonna be 2020. Here is just a typo mistake. Then the population at the time will reach 78,750 at the year 2020, like this year. Now, part D is asking, is P of D a function? Justify your answer. Let's start to graph or maybe talk about it a little bit more. As you see, my function is something like that. Look like rational. Because I have x on the top, I have x at the bottom. I do not know if the graph of this function is gonna be end up as a function or not. Maybe it passed vertical line test, maybe not. In that case, I have to plug a number. Especially this function is not just a function. It's representing the population of a city. Then we do not have a negative time. Something like that, we have to plot the point to see that what's going on, what is the actually is the function. Here, for if I plug x0 times 0 in 1995, as you saw, I had the answer as a 60. Then for 2003, time is 0, but for example, at 8, 2003 was representing 8, my answer was 75. At 13, my answer was 76 and point somethings. And as you see here, at 2020, that's a 25. I'm just assuming it's it here. Your function is getting a 78.75 thousand as a population. The population started growing, but slowly is going on. It doesn't have any like a turning point. Then the population, the time is not repeating again. We have it just one time, year 2003, and it's exactly on that time we have a population of 3. And as you see, this function is passing vertical line test, and as long as it's passing vertical line test, then we can say that P of t is a function. Also, beside of this one, we can use a Desmos. I'm hoping that you are familiar with the Desmos. Then you can see that how the function is drawing and passing the vertical line test. Here I want to start the new like a lesson. We have a time and I want just to go a little bit ahead. The lesson is the reviewing of the grade 10. It's not that hard, it is so easy, and I want just to go and start it. As you see, is a review. Here we are gonna talk about the addition and subtraction of the polynomials function. You learn on grade 10 how you can add same terms together and how you can subtract same terms from each other, how you can multiply terms. Doesn't matter if they are same terms or same concept or not, you can multiply them. Here we are gonna do couple of practicing questions. Like here, if I can add or subtract these equations, I'm just putting equal sign. 9x by power of 3 plus 5x by power of 3, 5x squared minus 7x squared, negative 3x plus 4x, 12 minus 3. adding two polynomials. Here we are going to talk about the subtraction. 9x by power of 3 minus 5x by power of 3. 5x squared minus negative 7x squared. This minus and minus is going to make positive. Then it's going to be 12x squared. Negative 3x minus 4x, negative 7x, and 12 minus negative 3 is going to be 15. I'm sure that you learned this stuff in grade 10 and you are confident about these ones. How about the multiplication? And let's do a question for the multiplication. Here, I'm going to use a FOIL method. The answer, 4 times 2 is 8. X by power of 5 multiplied by x by power of 3. Bases are same. I'm going to just add exponent. 4x5, 4 multiplied by negative 3 is going to be makes negative 12. x5 and x2 is going to make x7. 4 times 4, 16. x5 and x by power of 6. And finally, 4 times 5, 20. And there is no x, then x by power of 5. That's it. Here, I have to do a bit math first. First, maybe I have to multiply, I have to do inside of the bracket, then outside of the bracket. For this question, you can do in another way. You can multiply by 6x squared first, but I prefer to follow the steps for the bit math. Here, 4 multiplied by 3, 12x5 minus 8x4 minus 6x5 minus 12x4. It is inside of the bracket. I expanded. Before multiplying by 6x squared, I need to simplify inside of the bracket, because I can see that I have a 12x5 here and minus 6x5, that is making 6x5. Negative 8x4 minus 12x4, that it makes negative 20x4. Finally, I'm going to multiply this one by whatever that I have. 36x7 minus 120x6. I'm sure that these ones you had it last year, but we are going over it and reviewing it. How about this one? This one is a FOIL method that I'm leaving it for like a 1 minute for you. You try to do by yourself. Then we are gonna check the answer. Another 10 seconds maybe. Okay, I'm gonna start. 6 times 3, as you see, we have to do one by one. First one to the full bracket and second one into the full bracket. 6 times 3, 18x by power of 6 minus 24x3 plus 15x3. What I did, 6 by power of 3 multiplied by this one, 18x6. 6 times negative 4, negative 24 and x3. Now is the term for the next. 5 multiplied by 3, 15x3 minus 20. It's not done yet. I have to simplify. Make sure that I have a simplifiest format. 6 in x3 minus 24 plus 15 because I could add just these two because they are in the same term. I'm doing the other side is a 3 like a part expression multiplied by 3 part expression. Then I have to do 3 times FOIL method. 2 multiplied by 6, 12x4 plus 2x3 minus 6x2. Now I'm going for the next one, minus 30x3 minus 5x squared plus 15x. Finally, there is an add. I'm hoping that you can see 6x squared plus x minus 3. Now I'm trying to simplify. I have a 12x4, 2x3 here, minus 30x3 here is gonna make me negative 28x3. I have a negative 6x squared minus 5x squared minus 11x squared plus 6x squared is going to be minus 5x squared. Okay, I have just 15x here and x here makes 16x and finally minus 3. I multiplied at the first point in an order. Then I add and subtract the terms that they do have a same order. Finally, my answer is in order from the biggest exponent to the smallest, and I cannot simplify more. Here, I want just to, it's the homework question that I want you do for the practice. But in meanwhile, I'm gonna do one or two of these questions. I'm gonna leave it here for a couple of seconds at the end of the session. You can do screenshot, or if you have a McGraw-Hill Mathematics 11 textbook at home, they are the questions that you can practice. But right now, I want just to do maybe question 10, part F. It's a 3y, 1 minus y, y minus 3. Okay, let's do this question in another page as a practice. It is a question 10, part F. It's questions asking 3y open big bracket, 1 minus y minus 3. Let's see if we can simplify this question. 1 minute time to you, and then I'm gonna do the question. Okay. Bed mass first inside of the bracket, 1 minus y3. First I just expand this one, y to y squared, negative y to negative 3 plus 3y. I'm going to the next one, 2 minus y squared and plus 4y. There is another 3y beside of this one, this bracket, that I'm gonna expand it. It's gonna be 3y minus 3y3 plus 9y squared. Then how did I get these ones? Sorry. And also I can expand this negative 2. I can change the sign for all of them. Then here, after 9y, I'm gonna have a negative 2 plus y squared minus 4y. Let's see if I can simplify more. Here I have the highest exponent is 3y cubed. Then I'm gonna start writing them with the highest exponent. Negative 3y cubed, and there it was like a no other y cube that I could add. But here I have a 9 square and y square. How about that? Add them together, write it down, 10y square. After that I have a 3y minus 4y. It's going to make me a negative y. And finally the constant value negative 2 is going to the end of this question. Hopefully that today's lesson was the lesson that you could learn about it. We are gonna go and do more function like a next class. Here it was just the skills that you have to have it for our next lesson. It is the reason that we were reviewing it. If you are done for this question, I prefer to go for this lesson. I'm gonna keep this slide for like a 1 minute, that if you like to take a picture, a screenshot or whatever, do so, and please practice. Also, if you have a McGraw-Hill like a Mathematics 11 textbook, you can just use these pages to do more practice. Hopefully that you got a screenshot for this page, and it is the next page that I want you to do. Oh. It is partially, and from the question 13 I will show it in the next screen. Okay, and it is a question 13 that you didn't have on the previous slides. Right now you can take a like a picture screenshot, and they are the answers. Okay, folks, hopefully that it was a useful class for you and you learned or you got the answer for the question that maybe you had it before. Uh, our next class is going to be on Monday, same time. Stay at home, stay safe and healthy. Hopefully that everything goes well and we can go back to our like a normal regular life. Have a good day, have a good weekend, and bye bye.